Yo, what's up, guys? Jimmy here from Hermit Style Gaming. I'm here with Richard.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Cool, cool. Yeah, so we're going to go over the top list from the previous Orlando event that just took place this weekend. Talk about the top 32, the different decks that were there, some of the interesting cards and techs that were at the event. At the top 32 list, the most commonly played leader was Mecha Frieza at 12, followed by Cell, which was at 6. Richard, were you surprised by that?
I was surprised in that in top 32, I'd expect there to be more Mecha Frieza and more Cell. This was actually a more diverse meta than I expected.
Yeah.
Something I've observed from the player base that I've seen so far is they like to get on hype trains. They see a popular deck, is what people are talking about, and they tend to really flesh out those concepts opposed to going against the grain and figuring out how to overcome those. Maybe that's just the infancy of the game, but no, I thought this was a pretty diverse meta.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that, especially like when I was testing on Octagon, like leading up to the event, I literally only played Mecha Frieza. That was I couldn't find someone playing something different than that in like a couple days before the event. I probably played like 20 matches, and almost every single one was Mecha Frieza.
I think the big surprise is while I think a lot of people looked at Mecha Frieza and said, okay, let's take the Ginyu deck, let's take the same Ginyu deck, just put a different leader on it, we gain access to a whole bunch of different plays and be a straight upgrade. And I don't think, in my testing personally, that hasn't been the case. While I will say Mecha Frieza is a more versatile leader, with 2 color variants and 3 color variants, where Ginyu, you're pretty much either on blue, green, yellow, or you're doing a Ginyu rush.
Yeah, right.
The more competitive list, this tempo control-ish, dropping green guys for removal, playing blue spells, and yellow for core bloodlust. Mecha Frieza and Ginyu both do that pretty well. Ginyu's a little more consistent, while Frieza has a much higher ceiling.
Oh yeah, yeah. And see, my problem with Frieza is the fact that it can whiff so hard. I mean, I've played some games where I have like a god hand, and I have other games where I'm just like I can't do anything. This sucks.
Right, and I think with an above average hand, meaning 30% of the time, 40% of the time, your hand is going to be like best deck in format.
Oh, for sure. Because when it's good, it's amazing.
Right. But do I think Mecha Frieza is 12 times better than Ginyu? No, I think it's more comparable than these numbers show. I think there was a surprise it was that there's such few Ginyu. And maybe that was the same problem we saw at Connecticut, where it's really difficult to get 3 Ginyu mirrors in an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to bring up. I think, because I know when I was in Connecticut, there was so much Ginyu, and just every player you talk to was just, yep, drew again. I mean, I played Ginyu, and I had so many games go to time where it just stunk. So I think everyone saw that in Connecticut, and going into this event, they just knew Ginyu probably wasn't the smartest choice as far as being able to actually finish the 3, whereas Mecha Frieza can do something similar but push tempo a little more to finish games.
Precisely.
But yeah, I think it was really cool though. I was pretty happy that there was at least more than just Mecha Frieza and Cell. We had 4 with Vegeta, 4 with the starter deck Goku, which I was really happy to see that. I think he's a really strong leader. I think he's one of the best in the format. And then the androids, there were only 2. I thought there could actually be more androids. I thought they had a pretty decent showing in Connecticut, and I don't know, being able to just have so much more versatility if you want to play the Cell chain than with Cell leader. I think androids are just really good for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think it'd be great to spend time and we could talk specifically about each of the more unexpected leaders. We can look at those lists.
For sure.
And then we'll talk specifically about maybe one list from all of the more top tier, more populated decks that we saw.
Definitely. Yeah, I've just pulled up the Octagon list here for our first deck that we're talking about. This one was a tricolor Ginyu. It was the only Ginyu that actually topped in the event. And kind of looking through the list, it starts off pretty standard. So he's got his 4 Goldos. You're going to see that in every tricolor. You got your 10k boost. Your 4 Cold Bloodlust, obviously, is always going to be in there. The 2 Crushers. I talked about this a little bit in my deck profile. I actually really like playing 2 Crusher Balls, just maining 2 in tricolor. I know a lot of people run 3. I felt like there were enough answers in the deck, and there's already so many extra cards that you just, it's almost overkill to have the 3rd one in there. When you need it, you have it in the sideboard. I always side 1, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
So, with set 1, in general, there are more things you wanted to Crusher Ball than you wanted to Bloodlust. In set 1, you preferred Bloodlust for Princess Speed, and you preferred Bloodlust for 6 Brawly. Sometimes for Beers as well. But a lot of the bigger bombs, you preferred to Crusher Ball because they didn't have end of battle effects.
Yeah, definitely.
So that made sense back in the day.
Right.
I do agree that you'd rather have Bloodlust than Crusher Ball. Yeah, I think two probably your right number. Ginyu has to be a little more conservative with their spells or with their extra cards.
Sure.
And if you're accepting that you need to play Objection, it's really hard to play Sensu and play a whole playset Crusher Ball. So something has to get.
Exactly. That's the thing. You have to make cuts somewhere. Like, it's not that it's a bad card by any means. It's just you can't have every single card in the deck. Yeah. So that was it. That was all he played, I guess, for yellow. So he played 4, 8, 12, only 14 yellow. I don't really like going below 15 in tricolor personally. But, I mean, 1 less, I guess, isn't a huge deal. But I never really feel safe as far as energy goes. I always like having that extra one. Where, for me, I was playing the 1 Zarbon in my tricolor deck. And if I had to side it out, I would. But I found success with that. So that was a nice little tech. If I needed his energy, I could. Or if I drew my Goldo, he's obviously going to be energy. But moving into...
The one other thing that I think is really interesting about the main is he actually... Technically, went 4 colors because he splashed 2 furthering Destructive Champ.
Yeah,
and
he did.
What's your opinion on that?
So I thought about actually doing that in mine. I just couldn't find room for it. But when you're running the Kales and the Gohans, and you just hit them out of nowhere with a double strike crit, that no one's really going to expect that in tricolor. I thought that was really cool. The only thing I don't like is he's only running 2 Gohans and 3 Kale.
Same thing I was gonna say.
Yeah.
He's running the 1 drop and the 2 drop on Curiosity, and he's playing Boo. I feel like he has the targets. I would probably start with 4 Kale, 3 Gohan, and go from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would go the opposite, actually. I think I would probably only go 3 Kale and go up to 4 Gohan. I found I guess he is running that bundle Goku, so that's nice. I just always felt in tricolor I had trouble finding a target for Kale as opposed to other decks that I run Kale in. But mine also didn't run the bundle Q, so that is a nice target for Kale.
So the question is why does he value Raging Attacker Vegeta over the Super Saiyan Gohan?
Yeah, I wonder like if it was like a lack of cards, like did he just not have the promos or the certain super rares he needed? But yeah, I also wondered that as well. And I mean even over Beerus. He's running 2 Beerus and 3 Vegeta, which I get, like, you need certain colors, but it seems you can manipulate that enough to, I don't know. Yeah.
So, I've been thinking about this for a while. The reasoning behind Raging Attacker Vegeta is if you're playing a deck that is vulnerable to Cold Bloodlust, you have 2 options. Either you run Negation, something like Battering Laser, or you accept the fact they're going to have a bunch of Bloodlusts and opt for cards that minimize the impact. So
right.
Not only when you compare Gohan to Raging Attacker Vegeta, where in this, let's say they're playing the mirror match, you're hitting the exact same card except for Gotenks both. But if they Bloodlust your Raging Attacker, he's a 20k body, where Gohan can't even swing. Additionally, Raging Attacker gives you the option of doing removal on their turn once you're up on the summon. And
which that's really cool.
Bloodlust it, you have your double breaker on your turn.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I think that's a good point. Is most if you're playing the mirror, most tricolors aren't ready to play 2 bloodlusts in a row, like back to back, unless it's like really late game. I don't see too many charging. Just 2 yellow in general. I know I usually only charge 1, unless it's like a really weird situation. I just don't need it. So yeah, that's another good point. If you play it on their turn and they tap out that yellow and it goes back to you, you know you can play your whatever threat you want safely. So that is pretty nice. Moving on with the deck, blue, he's got the Boos, he's got Jacos. I think Jacos are a really nice add there in the Cell matchup. Or really any green leader, just to get rid of TN. We've got Beerus at 2, Coercion at 4, Sensubin at 4. I don't know if I like. I mean, Sensubin is a great card, but when you're talking about cuts and what you're going to put in there, and already a very high extra card count, I don't know if I agree with 4 Sensus in Tricolor personally. Like I see why it's obviously really good against red, and just the untap in general is just very strong, offensively or defensively.
So specifically, you need the Sensu Beans to support Raging Attacker. Mm-hmm. So they swing with their leader. You have 3 mana. You Sensu to 4. They didn't play anything else. Play Raging Attacker.
True. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I think I would still go with 3. It's just.
Right. No, I agree with you conceptually. I guess it's just a thing where it.
But I get the logic.
High.
Yeah.
You need the Sensu Bean to make it that playable.
Yeah.
But the question is that the right direction to go?
Right, yeah, that I don't know. But, I mean, hey, he topped, so.
Indeed.
And then Objection at 3. Personally, I like playing 4. I know there's a lot of discussion about that. If I can't get it turn 2, it really sucks, so I always like playing 4. And then I have the dedicated blue energy. But either way. And then, yeah, we already talked about FTC. Sideboard seemed pretty standard to me. He's got the 2 bad rings, which they're nice if you can fit them in the main deck as well. He's got the 2 crushers. We talked about that. I thought Mecha Frieza was an interesting sideboard card, especially considering he's only playing 14 yellows in the main, so he's definitely, for certain matchups, he's definitely siding in heavy on yellow to make sure he can hit those 2 energy. Father-Son Kamehameha, that's pretty standard for your Katara decks. Go 10, get rid of the annoying cards. You got your Revenge Blocker. He's pretty decent, especially against that, we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but I feel like he's a pretty good card against the yellow-green Golden Frieza deck. Mm-hmm. And then Mafuba's there. I'm assuming he put Mafuba in mainly for Indestructible.
Yeah, I think Mafuba also has a place in the mirror where you swing with your Gotenks, you're up on the summon, they try to catch up, and you Mafuba turn 6, turn 7, and they're behind for a turn.
Yeah. That's true. The thing about Mafuba is the timing. I mean, in Tricolor, if you don't time it right to where you're going to go in for the kill before that comes back, you now have an extra threat to try and get off the board if you aren't prepared to start going for game. So,
right.
Cool. Well, I think that's pretty good for that one. Anything else you want to add?
No. I think that covered it pretty well.
Cool.
I think we'll look forward to see if people can find ways to either, one, make Mecha Frieza consistent enough that Ginyu loses its viability, or people can figure out how to run Ginyu that it keeps up with the mirror more consistently.
Yeah.
Or the Ginyu versus Mecha.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also, to give credit, that was Christian Collier was who topped with that Ginyu deck. We're moving on now to Trunks. This was the deck a lot of people talked about. I saw Dusty and Ty were really praising this deck on the stream as I was watching. I didn't actually get to see it in action yet, but I did see a lot of really positive feedback on this build. I'll let you get started with this one. It was made by Alan Alleman. Hope I said that right.
Yeah, so I've actually had this deck built since the beginning of the format. Nice. I have a buddy Russell over at Poker Rust Gaming. Is another channel. He does a lot of Let's Plays. He did a deck prep on a similar list.
Okay.
And basically the concept is you're abusing Trunks' ability to easily put your Here to Save the Day piece into the discard. So, of course, playing Here to Save the Day on 2, does you do something like on turn 3, play Mighty Mask, and then get a Leap or get an Unyielding and a Super Saiyan Goten, and then blow up their guy. or you can use Unyielding Trunks untap and then combo 110 with your Comeback Gohan if you don't draw into the 3-drop Gohan.
Sure, yeah.
And it makes it really easy. You're running 8 Gohans, and even if you don't get to Mighty Mask, you're running enough copies of Trunks and Goten that you can duel it pretty easily. Results of training, he runs 3. We talked about this pretty extensively in my group, and we thought 2 made more sense after you consider how much you're drawing. That you're going to be able to draw into 1 of the 2 frequently enough, especially with Kappa. The one unique thing that his list did is he ran 4 copies of Manipulating God Champa, the 1-drop red. And I think his logic behind that was just he needed to find a way to play enough red to support Mighty Mask. So he said, push comes to shove and I have to play a red card. I have to play a red combo piece because I'm not playing any negations. So I guess I'll just play the 1-drop, hope I get into a further destruction, which will let me push things in.
Yeah.
But no, it's a solid deck. Lets you play on curve, and then you can play Mai as a pseudo blocker, or pseudo negate, which works really well.
Yeah, and she gets played for free, right?
What was that?
Is this the Mai that gets played for free?
Right. Yeah. Yep. So you can play her at any point in your mana.
Yeah.
And then really after you play with Vegito, you pressure draw a bunch of cards. Champa puts them in lethal, and then you drop Comeback Gohan, which rarely does he actually do any burn damage for the win. Being able to pay 25k and on turn 2 that doesn't care about Bloodlust very much is strong.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, it's definitely a really cool deck. I was surprised. I wasn't as surprised about the 3 results, though. I can see what you're saying about the draws, but the fact that he also sided the 4th. I wonder if that ever came into play or what his logic was there. That was the one thing I didn't really get. I guess if he's just real worried he won't awaken. I don't know.
So, if you're, it looks like what he tried to do is essentially the transformation side for the most part. Mysterious Presence would be for Mecha Frieza. When you have an open field, being able to play something on turn 3 that they might have to consider for that dusting is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I saw quite a few decks actually siding Monaka in the top cut there.
Being able to use Leap to the Future to discard extra copies of your results and then to tutor your Ghost Tanks makes playing all 4 a little more manageable.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. If I was playing, and again, I don't have much experience playing this build in particular, I just couldn't see a matchup where I'd really want to side in that 4th one. Because as you said, there's already so much draw. I don't know.
Right.
I would like to see if he actually did side it in, and when, and why. It would be real interesting.
I think with me, I probably would have prioritized having Jacob's.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's one thing I wanted to bring up as well. Is in that meta. I mean, you saw, what was it? The list here. We had 6. We had 8. So in top cut, a quarter of the decks that were in top 32, a quarter of them were green. So that means 25% of your matchups at Jaco has insane value. So that I agree with that. I think that will be a really good side deck card in here.
Particularly in a deck like this that doesn't run any defense. That they're going to be have the potential to push for lethal quickly, and Jago being able to put you at a net minus for that.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. No, that's all I had to
Cool.
say. Any other thoughts you had?
No. I actually we were talking about this before. I hadn't actually tried this out before. My teammate in Connecticut went in with a Trunks, but she went in with a blue-green, so it was totally different from this. And I actually this one is really cool, and I think it can run at almost a really good curve. Yeah, and I think the other thing is I doubt many people expected to play this. And I think that's something that's really cool in regionals is when you can come up with one of those decks like you were talking about, not just follow what everyone else is doing in the meta and play something a little different. I think it can really throw players off.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty good though. So we'll go into the next one here. This is we'll kind of go over this one pretty quick. This is a Goku Black build made by, I missed the name here. It was Derek? Yeah, Derek Crockett. So I thought this was interesting because he ran the Indestructibles and all, and the Goku Blacks and Zamasus basically ramping up to the big 8-drop. And I didn't see anyone actually in Connecticut playing that. I'm sure some people were, but I didn't see personally anyone. I did play a Goku Black, but it was the Bobbity Black, I believe. So pretty cool that this came in. I think I really like this better than Bobbity Black. I wasn't really a big fan of that deck when everyone was raving about it, but it seems good. It's pretty straightforward. They ramp up. They use the effect. You drop down the promo card on top, and there's a lot of plays. You can come in with the 8-drop and evolve. You have your Zamasu and Goku Black to stay on board to make it easy, and you can come in with... Did he play that 10-drop in here? I don't know if I see it.
He sided one.
He sided one. Okay, he sided one. Huh. That's pretty cool as well. Because I've seen everyone I've seen play it mains that 10-drop, so that's pretty interesting that he sides it. But no, I think it's just a pretty standard indestructible Goku Black deck that ramps to the 8. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. Do you?
I'm curious what his bracket was. So I look at this list and I'm imagining him playing against a new deck or Mega Frieza deck that has all 4 Bloodlust, right?
Right.
And they're not Bloodlusting anything on 3. I doubt they're Bloodlusting the Wisp on 4 unless they have all the cool Bloodlusts. On 5, they're probably gonna cold Bloodlust the Prince of Speed, but then they still have 1 or 2 Bloodlusts left. One of them being on your 6-drop Goku Black, which if they're playing Goku Black on curve and it gets negated, this deck doesn't have a lot of defense there.
Yeah, right.
Or if they resolve Goku Black, or if they get to 8 and play the Goku Black, again, they fear Bloodlust. My limited experience is the matchup against Yellow is pretty poor for them. And I'm thinking they were able to dodge a lot of their bracket. And I don't want to discredit him for that. There's plenty of Cell and Android's decks that I think will have a strong matchup against. But I'm curious what his bracket was.
No, yeah, I agree with that, because I've been, for the past month or so, pretty much mainly playing Yellow, and all the Goku Black decks I've faced, for the most part, were pretty simple matchups. It's pretty rare that I lose the matchup there. And I think, really, like you were saying, to play on curve, you do have to tap out sometimes, and with no Unyielding Spirit Trunks, that could really hurt.
The other component to it is if they play particularly aggressively and they get you down to 2 health, it's really hard for you to hard cast Unstoppable Despair because you can't play Joyful Strike for free.
Right. Yeah, and then in the sideboard, so he had four FTC in the sideboard. I saw a lot. I figured there'd be some play with this card, but it was going in decks that I wasn't expecting. I thought that was pretty cool. But what I didn't understand, I think the biggest thing for me was the 4 Kabbas.
So
that one I don't get.
What they'll do is when they go for Awaken, is they'll put the Goku Black at 4. That way, if they do use the effect and then Awaken, they don't have the 20k pump. Kabba allows you to go from 4 to 3, play the Kabba, burn yourself to 2, and then when you awaken, you're a 20k double strike.
Yeah, no, I get that, but so to side in Kabba, the only other reds he has, it looks like, are the FDC. So in total, he's only playing 8 red in the deck. That's just
right.
I don't know. I don't know if I would feel confident in getting that playoff.
Right, and while it doesn't sound like a lot of red, this play that I just talked about, that's usually going to happen turn 5, 6, 7.
Sure.
It's relatively likely between you burning light for Goku Black and drawing 15, 20 cards, you see at least one other red. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But again, you're not playing Kabba on curve, you're playing Kabba late game.
Right. Yeah. And I guess too, you can, if really need be, you can always search the FDC with Gaosu. Gaosu, whatever his name is, the God Search card.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't consider that either.
Cool. That's one of the one-offs, and that was the Golden Frieza, which I know you're really big on the Golden Frieza leader. So I'll let you head this one off.
Yeah, no, I had some experience with this. We were playtesting pre-draft leaders, and I actually built this deck almost verbatim. It's about 42, 43 cards. Except I didn't use Golden Frieza. I used Galactic Frieza.
Okay.
Because I thought with Sacred Guard, swing Invincible 20,000 blocker, and then attack him at the end of the turn would be powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
But basically, the premise of this deck is you go Wisp Resting Attendant, go 4 to 6, and then on 6 you play Frieza's Call. Frieza's Call gets a Dodoria, and then you play Returning Evil Golden Frieza to bounce the Dodoria to hand.
Yeah, that is a crazy combo.
So then you swing with 25k, and then on turn 7, and then you launch the Resting Attendant to replay a Mecha Frieza, tap 2, clear their guys, go for game.
Right.
That's basically the concept there. He runs a pool for triggers. I personally prefer 1-drops over 2-drops that are for triggers. So I would usually play Sorbet, even though you don't have
that's what I was going to say as well. I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Sorbet also ensures you have targets for your Blood of the Tyrant clan. That being said, you only need to get about 2 Friezas in the discard pile. You're never going to use Cooler's effect more than 20 games.
Sure.
He plays 2 objections. I would play 3 in here. Between objection.
He's playing.
And
you say objection or results?
You're right. I'm sorry, results.
Yeah, results,
I would play 3 results. Mostly because you can discard resolve with Mech Frieza.
Right. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of always having at least 3 of my Awakening card, because it's so hard in this game if you can't Awaken.
Yeah, as I said, I'm trying to understand more about why he went Golden Frieza over Galactic, and then why he didn't play more Wisses. Oh, he's playing 4 Bulmas with only 3 targets.
Right.
I don't love that personally. I saw that he posted a deck profile. I didn't get a chance to look at that yet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. So I'm curious to see his justification for that. Maybe there's some, rather than play on 4 or 5. Trying to think, you go 4 to 5 with Whis, and then you launch and you have 3 mana left. I guess that lets you play objection. So
sure.
Whis, then play objection, and then you're at 7 next turn. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah. I guess I could see that. Yeah, I agree though. It is a little off, but
sideboard makes sense for the most part.
Yep.
Is he?
Okay, so he mains 3 cents.
Another example of Further Destruction Champa.
Yep. Yeah,
he mains
he's everywhere. I really like how much play Goten got. I've been big on this card since when I picked up the game, I was like, because there's no way to stop it. It's just immediate spot removal, and there's so many targets for this card. I mean, he's good in almost every matchup, I would say.
The only thing I would have liked to see more of is I would have liked to see more Sacred Guard inside, or I feel it's really strong in the Cell matchup.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I know he's started to get more play now, but in the beginning he wasn't. That Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the 4-drop.
Yeah,
basically the same thing. When I was playing around with different Bobbity things, I was always putting in 3 to 4 of him. I feel like that's almost mandatory. Personally, I mean, to me he just feels like one of the best targets because he's gonna stick on board and he gets that boost. But just like you're talking about, same thing here. This is going to be tough for your opponent to get off the board.
Yeah, the Force Machito list I built was built around playing him on 4. So next he was guaranteed on field. So next turn you can evo him into either God Break or Awakening Rage.
Okay. Yeah.
I never actually got around to picking a deck, and it's probably not interactive enough. It doesn't good enough to be super viable. But no, I totally feel where you're coming from.
Cool. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add on this? I think we pretty much covered everything.
No. So maybe we can find a link to his video and put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Or something, so
Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. His name was Alex Wilking. So I will get that and throw it in the description below.